So again, for people like us and for people that look like us, the army is a door that you are able to walk through, and it will be able to give you a lot of opportunity. So this is what I'm saying. So with regards to changes, as I said, it takes away people's identity. But now the army recognize that we can allow people to have their own religion. We can allow people to have their own identity and yet still be effective soldiers. And the big thing is that when someone is their self and not trying to be others, then at the end of the day you can get that individual to fight a better fight and be a better part of a team.
Yes, people. So it's interesting when, since we posted this video, people have just continued to query, to jump, to bash everything that we can think about, asking why the British Army should continue or should allow people of different backgrounds. I don't know whether the background is the issue or even the faith. Okay, so I did an interview with this, with a Rastafarian officer, and I'm really proud to say, I took my hat off. I am really proud of such achievement, and that's basically the reason why we got such people to interview them. So when I did an interview with a brother, yes, obviously he's gone through the ranks, he's definitely done his time, he's definitely served his time, and actually being crowned with what, a warrant officer, or he's gone up the rank in terms of what, career wise. However, upon posting the video, people have just jumped onto the video upon the comment section, asking why is the British Army allowing people to be on dreadlocks? Why is the army tolerating, encouraging, or embracing all sorts of differences? And I found it really interesting, and I said, what, let me just do a quick review of this particular video and seek your view as well. Do you think people of different faiths should be encouraged within the army? Do you think people of different backgrounds should be encouraged to join the British Army? And the reason why I continue to say that is I did realize that people are really finding it very difficult to see a warrant officer in his dreadlocks, wearing all his, medals, demonstrating that he's done his time, he's definitely serving and continue to do so with pride. But yet still people continue to challenge because of the way he looks. What's your view? Do you think the army or maybe other organizations should be encouraging people from different backgrounds with different faiths to be able to do the job? And that's the most important thing. Or rather, there should be some kind of, should we encourage people from different backgrounds with different faiths to be able to do the jobs if they are able to do so? Or rather stick to it that, this is the army, we don't encourage. Let me leave it out there. Do we think people of different faiths should be allowed to join the army? Let me hear your view.
The Remembrance Parade right inside of Brixton to ensure that we are here to remember all of those that has gone on before us, and you see us here today representing everybody. So Black History 365, thank you very much and blessings. One love.
Unfortunately, we had people jumping to say, no, it's not right. It doesn't represent the British Army. It doesn't represent the British values. Interestingly, I did ask a question to the same person. What are the British values? And interestingly, the person never came back. But anyway, let me throw it out there. Do we think people of different faiths, of different backgrounds, should be allowed, should be encouraged to join the British Army? Let's hear the next thing that the brother talked about, because in as much as people, we may want to encourage people from different backgrounds to join the army, there are still challenges, and that is very important for people to know that they will face the challenges. But let's hear what this officer says about those kind of experiences, and I think you're likely to know where I am likely to lean on. But let's hear what this officer is going to say about the likely challenges that people are ever going to face if you are different in the army.
I can tell you, when I joined the army just to get away from a certain life, and I recognize that being a part of the army, it can do so much for me as an individual growing up. But when I saw people back in the days, they didn't go past the rank of corporal or sergeant.
I was myself.
But with longevity, as I tell you, if we stay and we show that, listen, we are people as well and we can do the job as well, and even though it may take us a longer time to get it because of one reason or another, and don't think that it's a racist environment. A lot of the time it's based around people do not understand who you are or where you come from within the Commonwealth. And when the longer we stay and the longer we show who we are, then we are be able starting to, because of course there was this level of racial disparity back in the days, and of course there may be individual that still has that, but at this moment there is so much more within it that if we stay, then we become a part of the system to show the system that yes, we are who we are and we can do the job, and within that we promote to that level as well, because the longer we stay is the more the rows will grow.
So in this section, I want people who may have served, people who may have had experiences in the army to be able to jump into the comment section to let us know whether you agree or not. According to the officer, obviously his recommendation is the longer we stay, the longer we are able to make an impact. Do I agree? Yeah. And this is the reason why. Obviously, joining the army, people don't know where you're coming from. People don't understand you. You are put in a particular bracket. But the longer you stay and demonstrate that, you know what, I am more than capable. I've got the skills. I am part of the system. The longer you stay, the longer, the straight away you become part of the system. And being part of the system, the army or the organization or the system cannot ignore you. You are definitely there to make a change. So as the warrant officer did say, the longer you stay, the easier it is for people to, appreciate you and know what you are also able to contribute. So in this instance, if there is this officer who is saying, you know what, I stayed and I was able to climb up the ladder. And it's very true. This does not mean that everybody who stays will be climbing up the ladder. No. But the situation is, if we are seeing people like this up in the ranks, people like this demonstrating to us that, you know what, I did it. Obviously, as a black person, when you see a senior officer who looks like you, who share the same values, who speak like you, there is the opportunity for you to be able to say, you know what, let me speak to that officer. How did you do it? How did you do it? Because as he rightly said, when we joined, the highest officer you could see was a corporal. Obviously, if people were not seeing the future, people were not seeing that long ambition to say that, you know what, I've seen somebody who looks like me, who speak like me in the higher ranks or in the upper ranks, then what is the point of people wanting to stay? However, this is the here and now. We have black soldiers, or we have black officers who are actually, up in the ranks. My hat, I tip off my hat to, recent captain, black soldier, boom, captain, black soldiers, warrant officers. Yeah, these are the people that we want to see. We may want to see our brothers and sisters up in the ranks demonstrating that, you know what, they are being equally promoted. And I'm sure if people are doing what they need to do, as we always say, if people are playing the game, they will definitely have their share. But whilst they are doing this, are we ever saying that what, they're never gonna face racism? I don't think so. But sometimes you need to be a step ahead. You need to be smarter in the game. You need to be smarter in the game so that you can beat. I remember I had this officer talk about his experience. Even though he is more lighter of a skin, even though he was born in this country, he talked about his experience in terms of racism.
Okay, and these are the same people that when I was gun number one and everything, I couldn't even leave anything because they used to trash everything. They told everybody else that they didn't want to work with me. Don't work with him. So young soldiers, when I turned up as a sergeant, didn't even want to work with me because they'd already said, no, we're going to destroy this person. Okay, I was never invited to anything, but yet when everything was on display, and they're right, we'll get Sergeant Williams up because he's a smart guy, he can stand there and deliver. Okay, oh, we'll only present him on parades, okay, because he'll deliver and he'll not let us down. Okay, on this side, we're not going to invite him. Okay, this is the life, and this is the life people need to face and fight through it, because it makes you. And then what happens then? Later on, you start helping these people. Okay, not only that, you start overtaking these people. All right, and then you start looking after them. Okay, I used to go out my way to be nice to the people who are nasty to me, because it's very difficult to be nasty to somebody who's nice to you. Okay, they used to mess them up. So go fight everybody. I can't fight everybody. I'm smarter than you. I'm smarter than you. Okay? So this is an example. You see me here sitting here today. You know, I never had a free lunch.
Ask ourselves, when you go into the NHS, when you go into all the other, main organizations or forces, do we think straight away because we are here as black people, they're just gonna pave the way for you? I don't think that's true. I don't think it's gonna happen. But the longer you stay, the easier it is for you to make that impact. And once you are making the impact, people are definitely gonna open the door and say, you know what, you deserve it. Definitely come and sit at the table. So I'm not ever by any means saying that we are not facing challenges, but if we are seeing people like this saying to us it is possible, then I am saying to my brothers and sisters still in service or even wanting to join, to say that yes, maybe it may help you to move away from a particular lifestyle or even pull you away from some kind of background in order for you to be able to gain employment, get some kind of career pathways. I know I'm doing some bit of advert for the British Army. Guys, come and see me. I'm saying to the army, come and see me. Let's do something together, because the reality is people are not aware. The more we are not seeing people like us in the front spaces, occupying these positions as officers and that, the easier it is for people to ever think that the army is of a particular, lifestyle. And we need to be able to help people who ever think that, I am capable, I am more than able to make that impact, to also be, to be stood forward, to be stood on the front line, so that they are able to share their stories, for people to be able to reach out to them, inspire them, for them to join up if that is what is needed. But whilst we are doing that, as I ask that question, do we have the opportunity to, occupy certain positions, take up certain trades or certain careers within the army? Let's hear his story.
It's just like any other job. When people think about the army, people think about putting on the front line, and not necessarily the front line is a good job, because everybody, you're a soldier and you're a soldier first. However, my job is IT within the army. So yes, I used to do other jobs, but I have then moved on to the IT world within the army. So there's so much things that you can do. So don't look at the army as just fight, gun, shoot, and kill. There is places that you can be, you can have your IT skills. The army can give you so much. So looking at a person like myself that has gone through the process of being, from a driver in the army, I was just driver first, to now I've moved on to other skills and been in the IT world, and I'm still in the army. So again, it's not just gun, shoot. There is so much more to do with inside the army, right? So again, for people like us and for people that look like us, the army is a door that you are able to walk through, and it will be able to give you a lot of opportunity.
What's your view? Let's hear it in the comment section, whether you think, the army is likely to be another employment avenue for people whoever, wishes to go on that particular career pathway. But apart from that, do you think people of different faiths, looking at a Rasta, on the front line, dress smart, warrant officer, do we think it needs to be allowed? I actually had somebody in the comment section say to me, do we ever think that we want to see somebody in America, wearing the British Army uniform, or British Armed Forces uniform? Well, I think anybody should be, whatever faith or background it is. The reality is they are standard, and if the person meets the standard, their faith, for me, it comes second. It's a personal opinion, but let's know what your one may be. And whilst you are definitely gonna share your one, what I may say is, let's be very honest with ourselves. If you have actually, or if you were in a position to serve, commit your life, give your life to say that I want to serve, would you have done that? And if it's yes, then by all means, let's hear you and hear more of you. What I may say is, we need to represent our soldiers. We need to represent those who are giving, their time, their life, and everything, putting themselves on the front line to do a good job. And if that's what they're doing, we need to make sure that we are very careful in terms of, making our utterances. But anyway, people, do we think we need to bow our heads because there is racism in the British Army.
Talking to Kerry-Ann Knight, and she said it wasn't long before she experienced abuse and would now no longer recommend the military as a job, especially for women of colour.
That should rather give you the courage to be able to stand and demonstrate that you are more than capable, and put people who ever doubted, you to shame and make them understand. Big up to this officer. He's definitely done us proud, and I was really proud to have interviewed such an inspiring person, because as people ever said, this interview was great, and I want you to rate, I want you to rate, how you felt about this interview. But remember, like the video, share, subscribe, and possibly join us as a member so that you can give us £1 or £2, so that we can continue to go around, find people who look like you and I, to be able to interview and get them to tell their stories, so that our next generation can see people like this and be inspired about their great achievement. Anyway, people, I'll see you in the next video. Boom.